Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and I'm the program manager for ConveyUX. That's been Seattle's annual user experience conference for the past 6 years. We're going into our 7th. This is produced by BlinkUX, and it's coming up March 11th, 12th, and 13th. And I have a chance to talk with another one of our great speakers, in this case, someone who's been with the conference before. And so happy to be having this conversation with Indi Young. Hello, Indi. How are you today?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, everything's good. I'm currently at Seattle's relatively new office in San Diego, as opposed to the headquarters in Seattle.
Wow.
Where are you talking to us from?
San Rafael, California, where it's very smoky out as we speak.
Well, we had a lot of that in Washington State in the late summer. It was really a difficult situation, so I know what that's like.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you in the conference again, and we'll talk about the 2 sessions that you'll be involved with, but maybe start with giving us some highlights from your so far very full career.
Highlights. Well, let's see. I guess starting now and kind of going backwards, right now I do a blend of actual research projects with clients, and I also train and mentor teams to do problem space research, to really pay attention to the problem, to understand how to do listening sessions, to understand how to actually make sense of the data, to actually go through the data. So many research people think that it's done when you're done with the listening sessions or you're done with the interviews, right, the user interviews, and it's not. You can't just pull insights out of a hat. You have to actually go through and really understand it, and I teach people how to do that. The other thing that I do is I teach people, not in the guise of an actual project, but online in advanced training classes, and I've got a series of those lined up, and if you take all of them live, then you get a certificate from me at the end of them. But I'm kind of slow right now pulling them together because of the situation with my house, which got flooded. So please stay tuned until that gets back. And I'm also writing a couple of books. I'm doing second edition of my first book, Mental Models. It's amazing. Okay, yeah, I'm the author, but it's really, I mean, absolutely every word is brand new. I've completely rewritten it. It is a little bit over halfway done. It was supposed to be due out early spring, but with this house problem, it's going to be probably summer next year. And alongside that, I'm also launching a handbook that is based on the talks and essays that I write about removing demographics from your thought process, your design process, unless they are specifically necessary. Like if you are dealing with discrimination, then yes, demographics are necessary. But if you're dealing with, people who are veterans and they have to be like between 62 and 72 to receive these benefits, that's not a great way to think about them, because everybody between 72 and 62 does not think alike, and they do not have the same problems. So what I'm trying to do is convince people how to do that, and that's what that handbook is about. I call those thinking styles, and the handbook's going to be called Assumptions Aside. Before all this, I wrote a book called Practical Empathy, which is about listening, and it's about how you use cognitive empathy to understand people, and emotional empathy to help people through their emotional process. And got very specific definitions in that, and also in all my talks. So every audience is like, oh, whoa, I came away with a really better understanding of what empathy is and how to apply it. I mean, how really to apply it. It is not just trying to make yourself better. It is not having emotion or feeling someone else's emotion. There are very specific definitions and very specific ways to use it in your work. Counting down from that, I was one of the founders of Adaptive Path back in 2001, and as a part of that, I worked with all our clients. I brought mental model diagrams to all our clients. I'm still doing mental model diagrams. They are still doing amazing things, and I'm also collecting stories from other people about what value a mental model diagram has brought to their organization, that kind of approach. Before that, boy, it's a lot of history. Let's stop there.
Well, you're always, I've always, since I've known you, you're always extremely busy with all kinds of things going on, new and old, and your practical empathy book is really grand. There's a lot of great information in there, and so yeah, I mean, we're just happy to have you back involved with all of your expertise, and you're going to be doing 2 sessions. We might as well talk about those a little bit. One of them is one of our half-day workshops, which are included along with the one conference price, and that is thinking styles versus personas. So could you tell us a little bit about that workshop and what we can expect to see?
Yeah, that is part and parcel of my Assumptions Aside handbook. What I do is I try to help people understand what the vocabulary is and how to use it in your own organization so you can start convincing people. I also teach people what it means, where it fits, how it fits with everything else, and then I start talking about how you might be able to convert existing personas into thinking styles. And in the meantime, I teach you all the steps for creating a thinking style. The half-day workshop is seriously not enough to really understand how to do it. You have to actually try it yourself, and it takes at least 4 hours to go through the first pass of converting things or creating thinking styles based on listening sessions. So,
well, it'll give people a good introduction to that topic in your process.
You're not going to walk out with your own thinking styles, but an idea how to do it, a really solid idea.
Yeah, so that has to be valuable in and of itself. And you're also going to actually be finishing things out, providing us with some ideas as we finish up our 2019 event. And so your feature session is entitled Paying Better Attention to the Problem. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's the core of everything. So many people ask me, well, you know, all this listening sessions, making a mental model diary, all this, you know, doing the thinking style segments instead of personas, all this sounds fabulous. It sounds really valuable. Where does it fit into the development cycle? Or where does it fit into my continuous dual track design and development cycle? And the answer is it doesn't. It does not. You cannot fit it in there. People have tried and it gets squished and it goes ping right out. So the problem space is a completely separate area. And I will talk a little bit about what it is, how it's different than the solution space, how it's different than design and development, and how and where you might actually be able to take time to do a little bit of exploration iteratively on a yearly basis or every other year or something like that. One small investigation into it can take between 8 and 14 weeks. But that's 8 or 14 weeks of you and a team maybe working on it maybe 10 hours a week. So so there's where it fits in. And I've got some samples of what that is. The idea, you know, you're between projects, okay, yeah, let's start this thing, let's gather the data, and then maybe the next time we're between projects, I'm going to start analyzing the data, etc.
Well, between that one and your workshop, we'll have a good opportunity to learn from you, and people will also be able to talk with you a little bit informally, individually, and so we look forward to your participation in Seattle when you show up in March.
Great, yeah. And if you can't wait to talk to me, I have private coaching on my website, IndiYoung.com, and also the Practical Empathy book is available on Audible. So many people have told me that it has just really helped them out being able to listen to it while they're on commute or doing chores or whatever.
All right, well, definitely we'll look into those resources, and thanks for taking the time to do this preview with me.
Yeah, absolutely.